And what is up, everybody? Okay. It was last week I read on Facebook, BJ Penn posted it, how Holly Holm is the first athlete to win boxing championship and mixed martial arts championships, and therefore she's being entered into the Guinness Book of World Records. And that would be great if it was even correct. Now, if you go back to my top five boxers in MMA history, if you remember, I've said Eric Butterbean. That's right, first ever super heavyweight champion and 14-time or something like that tough man winner. Butterbean was the first person to win boxing and MMA titles. Long before Holly Holm did. Now, granted, Holly Holm was undefeated at the time, and as well as Holly Holm won two way more prestigious titles than the title that Butterbean won, but Butterbean did it first. So I mentioned it on Facebook, and a bunch of people, a few people liked what I said. Not gonna say a bunch. I think it was maybe like four or five people, or something like that. And they like what I had to say, and so I decided, you know what? You would think that Guinness World Records would have done their homework. So what do? I go onto their website and I inquire basically saying, like, how do you guys go about correcting a mistake? Because I mentioned the two boxing titles that Butterbean won, as well as the Elite One MMA super heavyweight title that he won. So that I wrote them last week. And wait, where is it? Okay. This is what they wrote. They said, "Dear Darren, thank you for your message. Eric Esch won the Elite One MMA Super Heavyweight Championship, which is not a recognized international championships by Guinness World Records, as they are based and function in a regional location rather than worldwide. Therefore, we unfortunately do not consider Mr. Esch's achievement as a Guinness World Records title." And I couldn't think of a lamer excuse, so I wrote back to them. And I wrote back to them today and said, what constitutes as international exactly? Do they not allow anyone from outside their so-called region to compete? There was a time when UFC's region was Nevada and New Jersey only, but they were considered a world championship. Pride Fighting Championships region was Japan only, still considered a world championship. Many promotions don't have the money to go past a certain region, but fighters from all over the world come to compete and win these regional championships. So what you're telling me is because Eric Esch won a championship from a promotion with not as much money as UFC, it does not count. I've never heard of such bias, and they wrote back to me today saying, as previously mentioned, we can't consider a regional championship and regional title fights for world records, which is why the records exist as it is. The really, really stupid thing about this is the fact that the only reason why it's only for a region is because they can't afford to go anywhere else. But that doesn't restrict any. They can't travel. That does not restrict anybody from being able to come in and fight in that particular region. It's stupid to even try to consider that. Prime example: look at this current season right now of The Ultimate Fighter. They got 16 different champions. A majority of those guys are from regional, professional, mixed martial arts promotions. And what did Dana White say? He said we have 16 world champions. Why? Because despite the fact that they're supposedly regional, anybody from around the world is capable and perfectly allowed to compete for those championships. So why is it that because Butterbean fought for a much less prestigious promotion, that now he's not considered for the Guinness World Record? He's the first person to do it, the first athlete to do it. Holly Holm, first woman to do it. Good on her, you know. And the fact that she was able to win the Legacy and the UFC championship, good on her. You know, I'm not taking anything away from her, but to say that she is the first athlete to do it when it's not true, and then to discredit Butterbean because it wasn't a world, because it was a regional title, that's bogus, man. That is absolutely bogus. And for somebody who's been around as long as Butterbean to be, you know, got into mixed martial arts just before it really started to get cool, just before they started to lift the state bans, fought in Japan, fought in the United States, started getting into kickboxing, which this, that, the other. I forget who he's fought. I think he fought Wesley Carrera, Cabbage, but and then of course he even started his own indie pro wrestling promotion, you know, good stuff like that. But because you know that you're basically discrediting the man. How long has this been fighting? And for as old as he is and as big as he is, and the fact that UFC doesn't have a super heavyweight championship. Pride didn't have a super heavyweight championship. UFC doesn't have a super heavyweight championship. Strikeforce, Elite XC, World Series, Legacy, One Fighting Championship. None of these world championship organizations have a super heavyweight division. So when this man is the first person to win titles in boxing, creating the super heavyweight division in boxing, winning those titles, then to come over to mixed martial arts and win a super heavyweight title as well, oh, I'm sorry. It's a regional title, therefore it doesn't count. That is absolutely bogus. That is not fair. I know it. Anybody watching me knows it too. I'm done talking. You guys have a good night.